Maya trusted Ryan with her life, but what she discovered shattered everything she believed. Evelyn, Ryan's own mother, was secretly manipulating him, weaving a web of betrayal that threatened to destroy Maya completely. As secrets unravel, lies are exposed, and shocking twists come to light, the question remains: how far would Maya go to take revenge on the two people who betrayed her most? Maya had always believed she was living the dream. Her marriage to Ryan seemed perfect. He was charming, attentive, and had a way of making her feel like the most important person in the world. Their home was immaculate, bathed in sunlight during the day and warm with soft lamplight at night. They had everything a couple could wish for: a cozy living room filled with photos of smiling faces, a small garden bursting with colorful flowers, and a loyal little dog named Bella, who never left their side. Friends often envied them, describing their life as flawless, enviable even. Maya herself felt content at least. That's what she told herself. But perfection has a way of hiding cracks. At first, the changes were subtle. Ryan began coming home later than usual, sometimes claiming work emergencies, other times inventing social events that seemed suspiciously vague. His laughter, once genuine and warm, began to feel strained, almost forced. He grew more protective of his phone, slipping it into his pocket the moment Maya entered the room. And then there was Evelyn, Ryan's mother, who had always been friendly and polite but suddenly began visiting at odd hours, often staying long into the evening. Evelyn had a way of moving through the house that seemed calculated, as if she were always aware of what was happening and who was watching. Maya couldn't explain why her gut twisted every time Evelyn laughed a little too long with Ryan or brushed her hand against his shoulder. Something about the way they exchanged glances, subtle but electric, filled her with unease she couldn't shake. Every detail felt like a clue, but she didn't have proof, just a mounting sense that her perfect life was unraveling behind closed doors. She tried to dismiss her feelings at first, telling herself she was imagining things. After all, Ryan had never given her a reason to doubt him. They had shared dreams, whispered promises, and countless nights of laughter. Evelyn had been nothing but a supportive mother-in-law, or so she thought. But the quiet, almost invisible tension in the household began to gnaw at her. Maya noticed how Ryan's eyes lingered a second too long on Evelyn, how he seemed uncomfortable whenever she casually brought up her day. She began keeping track of small details. The late-night texts Ryan quickly hid, the sudden disappearances during family gatherings, the way Evelyn would casually comment on Ryan's schedule as if she already knew it. Maya found herself walking on eggshells, questioning everything around her. Even Bella seemed to sense the shift, whining softly whenever Ryan returned home late, as though the dog too had detected the subtle betrayal in the air. Maya couldn't shake the feeling that her life, which had once felt secure and warm, was now teetering on the edge of something dangerous and unknown. She didn't know when exactly the cracks had appeared, but now they were wide and deep, threatening to swallow the life she had carefully built. Every evening, she would sit alone in the living room, pretending to read or scroll through her phone, all the while watching Ryan and Evelyn from the corner of her eyes. Their interactions, however mundane, seemed to carry hidden meanings she couldn't decode. The small smiles, the quiet nods, the subtle ways they mirrored each other's gestures. It was as if they had a secret language that excluded her. Fear mixed with curiosity, a potent cocktail that kept her awake at night. Who were they really when she wasn't around? And how long had this secret been brewing behind her back? Maya's life, once predictable and comforting, now felt like a mystery she was trapped inside, forced to watch as clues assembled themselves like pieces of a puzzle she couldn't yet complete. The sense of impending doom lingered in every room, every corner of her home, and deep down she knew one terrifying truth. The longer she ignored it, the closer she was to uncovering a reality she might not survive emotionally. Maya's suspicion had been simmering for weeks, a quiet unease she tried desperately to ignore. But one evening, as Ryan left the living room briefly to grab a drink, her eyes fell on his phone lying unattended on the couch. It was unusual for him to leave it out, and something inside her tightened, a mixture of fear, dread, and an unshakable curiosity. Hesitating only for a moment, she picked it up, her fingers trembling. The screen lit up with notifications that immediately drew her attention, messages from Evelyn. At first, she thought it might be innocent chatter between a mother and son, but as she read further, her heart began to pound. The messages were intimate, personal, filled with words and emotions that no mother should ever share with her son. There were jokes that carried a hidden edge, late-night plans that seemed secretive, and lines that made her stomach churn with a mix of anger and disbelief. This was not a harmless flirtation, it was something far darker, far more twisted. Shock gave way to a cold, heavy rage. Maya could hardly believe what she was seeing. Her husband, the man she had trusted with her heart, was betraying her in the worst possible way, and the one person she had assumed would be on her side, Evelyn, was fully complicit. Every line of the messages cut deeper than the last, revealing clandestine meetings, hidden excuses, and whispered promises made behind Maya's back. It was as if her whole life had been a carefully constructed illusion, a story in which she had been the only one playing by the rules. She felt her hands shake as she scrolled through the conversation, each new message a fresh stab of reality. Ryan had not only been unfaithful but had done so with deliberate secrecy, plotting to hide every trace. Evelyn's role was clear. She was the architect of the betrayal, encouraging, arranging, and manipulating. The thought made Maya shiver. How long had this been going on? How many lies had been told in the guise of love and family loyalty? The walls of her home, once warm and comforting, suddenly felt suffocating, closing in around her. Fear began to creep in alongside anger. Maya wondered what else she didn't know, what other hidden truths lay waiting in the shadows of her life. She realized that confronting Ryan immediately could be dangerous. He was clever, and Evelyn was cunning. She needed evidence, undeniable proof, something that would leave them no choice but to face the consequences of their actions. The idea of watching them secretly, of unraveling their carefully constructed deception, both terrified and intrigued her. In the days that followed, Maya's behavior changed. She became calm on the surface, almost unnervingly so, pretending nothing was wrong while her mind raced with plans. Every casual glance from Ryan and Evelyn was scrutinized, every movement analyzed. She noticed how Ryan's body tensed when Evelyn was around, the subtle ways they avoided eye contact when she entered a room, and the tiny, almost imperceptible smiles that seemed to carry secret meanings. The realization hit her again and again. This wasn't just betrayal, it was an entire hidden world she had never been allowed to see. Maya's curiosity, though painful, became her weapon. She began tracking Ryan's schedule, noting the inconsistencies, the unexplained absences, the sudden errands that seemed too convenient. She paid attention to Evelyn's visits, the times she lingered, the subtle ways she tried to appear harmless while orchestrating something beneath the surface. Every small detail added another piece to the puzzle, another thread that could eventually lead to the truth. But even as she collected evidence, fear lingered in her chest like a heavy stone. She had no idea how far Ryan and Evelyn's scheme went, what lengths they would go to protect themselves, or whether discovering the full truth would destroy her completely. She knew one thing for certain: her life, once predictable and safe, had turned into a labyrinth of secrets and lies, and each step forward brought her closer to the shocking reality she feared and yet needed to uncover. Maya realized that the life she thought she knew was gone, replaced by something far more dangerous. The betrayal was deeper than infidelity. It was a secret world of manipulation and deceit, and she was now trapped inside, forced to navigate it carefully if she wanted to survive and strike back. Maya knew she couldn't face this nightmare alone. The weight of Ryan and Evelyn's betrayal pressed down on her like a stone she could barely lift. Every day, she watched them with a mixture of dread and fascination, noting their secret glances and subtle gestures, wondering what other lies they were weaving around her. She needed someone she could trust, someone with insight and loyalty, someone who would not be blinded by appearances. That someone was Liam, her childhood friend. the one person who had known her since she was a child and had always understood her in ways no one else could. Calling Liam late one night, Maya explained, without showing the full depth of her turmoil, that she suspected something was deeply wrong in her marriage. Liam listened quietly, his voice calm but firm, warning her to be careful. He knew Ryan's charm could hide dangerous cunning, and he understood Evelyn's manipulative streak all too well. Together, they hatched a cautious plan. Maya would continue observing, gathering subtle clues, while Liam would help her analyze patterns, connections, and inconsistencies. The first step was to turn suspicion into undeniable proof. Maya became meticulous. She started tracking Ryan's movements, noting every unexplained absence, every sudden text that he hurriedly hid when she entered the room. She studied Evelyn's visits, the timing, the length, the small things she used to assert dominance in the house without drawing attention. Every detail was a thread, and she had begun to weave them into a web of evidence that could not be ignored. Liam suggested recording small interactions discreetly, taking pictures, even noting dates and times in a hidden journal. Maya felt a mix of fear and exhilaration. This was no longer passive observation, it was an investigation. The closer Maya watched, the more she realized how deep the betrayal ran. Ryan and Evelyn's interactions were calculated, almost ritualistic. They had developed a pattern, a secret rhythm that excluded her, yet somehow she could see its outlines. The thought that her husband had been planning this for months, perhaps even years, made her stomach churn. Evelyn was no longer just a meddling mother-in-law. She was an accomplice, a strategist, quietly pulling the strings to manipulate both Ryan and the situation for her own gain. Every smile, every whispered conversation Maya glimpsed from a distance confirmed that the betrayal was not only real but deliberate. Maya's fear sharpened into determination. She realized she had a unique advantage. Ryan and Evelyn underestimated her. They thought her quiet demeanor and patient nature were signs of ignorance or complacency. They were wrong. Every meeting she observed, every secret message she glimpsed, added to her understanding of their plan and fueled her resolve to confront it strategically. She was no longer just the victim. She was the one collecting the pieces of the puzzle, preparing for the moment when everything would come to light. As the days passed, Maya and Liam worked tirelessly. They coordinated without leaving traces, using coded language and subtle signals. Liam helped her understand the psychology of betrayal, the way manipulators operate, and how to anticipate their moves. With each passing hour, Maya's fear gave way to a chilling sense of control. She could almost see the moment when Ryan and Evelyn would realize that she had known everything, that their carefully hidden secrets would be exposed. Yet even as confidence grew, so did the tension. Maya knew one wrong move could backfire catastrophically. Ryan's charm could turn dangerous, and Evelyn's cunning was unpredictable. The thought of confronting them too soon filled her with anxiety. She had to be patient, to wait for the perfect moment when the evidence could not be denied, when the betrayal could be revealed in a way that left no escape for either of them. Maya had entered a world of deception she never imagined existed, a world where trust was a weapon and betrayal was an art. But with Liam by her side, she no longer felt helpless. Every detail, every observation, every subtle interaction was part of a plan forming in her mind, a plan that would turn the tide, expose the truth, and ultimately allow her to reclaim her life from the people who had tried to destroy it. Maya had spent weeks watching, listening and gathering evidence, and now every piece of the puzzle had begun to fit together. She knew Ryan and Evelyn were careful, cunning, and unpredictable, but she also knew one thing: they underestimated her. That arrogance would be their undoing. She needed a plan so flawless, so invisible, that they would never suspect her involvement until it was too late. Every detail had to be precise, every action calculated. Failure was not an option. She began crafting a scenario that would lure Ryan and Evelyn into revealing everything. The idea was risky, but Maya's patience and intelligence made her believe it could succeed. She created a story of a private opportunity, a chance for Ryan to meet someone important about work, or so he would think. She planted subtle hints, small suggestions, that made the meeting seem normal, even necessary, without raising any suspicion. To make it irresistible, she added Evelyn into the equation, ensuring the mother-in-law would feel she had control over the situation. Maya knew they would not resist the lure. Meanwhile, Liam helped her set up hidden methods to capture evidence. Cameras were positioned carefully, recordings were timed to catch every movement, and a log was kept of every interaction. They even devised ways to ensure no digital traces would alert Ryan or Evelyn to what was happening. Maya felt a strange mix of fear and exhilaration. The trap was set, and now all she could do was wait. Every glance from Ryan, every casual remark from Evelyn, seemed to confirm that the plan was unfolding exactly as she intended. As the day approached, Maya's nerves were taut, but she stayed calm in appearance, pretending to go about her usual routine. Ryan, oblivious to the net closing around him, continued his daily antics, flirtatious gestures with Evelyn, secretive glances, and whispered conversations that he thought were hidden. Evelyn, confident in her ability to manipulate, did not suspect Maya's awareness. Together, they stepped into the trap, each action further entangling them in Maya's meticulously designed plan. The chosen location was a secluded cabin on the outskirts of town, a place remote enough to ensure privacy but carefully observed through hidden cameras. Maya had made it appear that the meeting was necessary for something unrelated to her, a fabrication that was just believable enough to pull both Ryan and Evelyn in. As they arrived, she watched from a distance, heart pounding, every muscle in her body tense with anticipation. This was the moment all her careful observation, all her sleepless nights, all her careful planning had led to. Through the hidden cameras, Maya saw the first signs of their betrayal unfold. The touches, the smiles, the small gestures of secrecy, all captured in clear, undeniable detail. It was worse than she had imagined. The audacity of their deceit, the way they moved as if they were the only two people in the world, sent a chill down her spine. She realized how close she had been to losing everything, how much they had underestimated her resolve. Every second was a mix of fear, disgust, and a strange thrill at seeing the truth revealed before her eyes. Even as the trap revealed the affair, Maya noticed something unexpected. Evelyn had been manipulating Ryan in ways she had not fully anticipated. Evelyn was not merely a passive participant, she was controlling, directing and guiding Ryan's actions. The betrayal ran deeper than Maya had imagined, twisting into something even more dangerous. The realization strengthened her resolve. She would need to be careful, clever, and patient. One wrong move could shatter everything, but one perfect move could end this nightmare once and for all. As Maya retreated to her home, heart racing and mind calculating the next step, she knew the stage was set for the ultimate confrontation. The trap had worked, the truth was clear, and now it was only a matter of time before Ryan and Evelyn would realize that the person they had underestimated was not only aware of their betrayal, but had begun taking control in ways they could never anticipate. The suspense, the danger, and the thrill of the unknown now hung in the air like a storm ready to break. The footage from the hidden cameras revealed more than Maya had ever imagined. Every glance, every touch, every whispered conversation between Ryan and Evelyn was captured in vivid detail. Watching them, Maya felt a mixture of horror and disbelief. The affair was not just physical, it was a game of manipulation, control, and deceit, and Evelyn was the mastermind. She wasn't simply enjoying the betrayal. She was orchestrating it, guiding Ryan and shaping every secret interaction to suit her own hidden agenda. The realization made Maya's stomach churn. This went far beyond infidelity. This was a deliberate, calculated scheme, and she had been the unwitting pawn until now. As Maya continued to review the recordings, she noticed something that made her blood run cold. Evelyn had been secretly recording Ryan as well, capturing private conversations and moments, likely intending to use them as leverage. The mother-in-law's cunning knew no bounds. She was planning to blackmail Ryan, forcing him to choose her over Maya, to hand over money or control of the household, or perhaps even both. The betrayal was deeper than Maya had feared, and now she understood that confronting Ryan directly without a plan could be catastrophic. He wasn't just deceitful, he was trapped in Evelyn's manipulations, and she was relentless. Maya's mind raced as she considered her options. Confronting them without evidence could backfire. But with the recordings, she held undeniable proof of their treachery. She realized that the timing, the method, and the precision of her confrontation would determine the outcome. There was no room for error. Every step had to be deliberate, every move calculated. She would expose the betrayal in a way that left no room for denial or manipulation. The stakes were higher than ever, and the danger, though invisible, felt suffocating. She began planning her approach meticulously. First, she would secure the evidence, making multiple copies hidden in places only she and Liam knew. Then, she would ensure that the law would be involved, not just as a shield but as a tool to dismantle the manipulations and deceit. Maya understood that this was no longer just about revenge. It was about reclaiming control, justice, and safety. She could no longer trust that Ryan or Evelyn would act rationally, and she had to be ready for anything. The night she decided to act, Maya felt a tense anticipation she had never experienced. Every sound in the house seemed magnified. The creak of the floorboards, the whisper of the wind outside, even Bella's soft breathing. Ryan and Evelyn were unaware of the storm about to descend upon them. They moved through the house with their usual confidence, blind to the fact that Maya had observed and recorded every act, every word, every betrayal. When the confrontation finally came, Maya presented the evidence with a calm precision that stunned both of them. Ryan's confident smirk faltered, replaced by fear and disbelief. Evelyn's composure cracked almost instantly, the hidden arrogance of her manipulations dissolving in the face of undeniable proof. The recordings, photos, and documented interactions left them with no escape, no room for excuses, no path to deny the truth. Maya watched, her heart a mix of satisfaction and lingering horror, as the people who had tried to destroy her life faced the reality of their actions. Even as justice seemed imminent, Maya realized one terrifying truth. The betrayal had been far deeper than she had imagined, and the ripple effects would take time to settle. The psychological manipulation, the layers of deceit, and the hidden schemes had left scars that would not fade quickly. Yet amidst the shock and the chaos, Maya felt a rising sense of control. She had taken the first decisive step in reclaiming her life. The power had shifted, the storm of betrayal had been exposed, and now, only the final reckoning remained. Maya understood that the ultimate victory would not come from rage alone, but from careful strategy, patience, and unwavering focus. Ryan and Evelyn had been masters of manipulation, but Maya had outsmarted them, and as the consequences of their actions began to unfold, the truth became painfully, beautifully clear. The life they had tried to destroy would rise stronger, smarter, and unstoppable from the ashes of betrayal. The aftermath of Maya's careful exposure of Ryan and Evelyn was nothing short of explosive. The quiet tension that had gripped her house for months now erupted into chaos. But this time, Maya was in control. Ryan's smug confidence had dissolved into panic, and Evelyn's calculated composure had shattered entirely. They had no idea how much Maya had known, how patiently she had watched, and how meticulously she had planned. The evidence she had gathered, videos, messages, and logs, left them exposed, cornered, and powerless. Every lie, every secret meeting, every manipulative act was laid bare, and for the first time, the balance of power had shifted decisively. Maya had called Detective Harris, a sharp and experienced investigator, known for seeing through the most intricate deceptions. She handed over the evidence, explaining the situation calmly, without revealing the full depths of the emotions that had churned inside her for months. Detective Harris examined everything with meticulous precision, nodding at the clarity of the documentation. It was more than enough to pursue legal action, and he assured Maya that Ryan and Evelyn would face consequences beyond her personal revenge. Knowing the law would be on her side gave her a cold, satisfying sense of security she had never felt before. As the investigation unfolded, the town buzzed with whispers. Friends, neighbors, and even distant acquaintances learned of the shocking betrayal. A husband cheating with his own mother, a conspiracy of manipulation that no one could have predicted. Ryan and Evelyn's reputations, carefully cultivated for years, crumbled within days. People who once admired them now looked at them with suspicion, horror, and disbelief. The public exposure, combined with the legal scrutiny, left them vulnerable, isolated, and stripped of the power they had wielded so cruelly. Maya watched it all with a quiet, measured satisfaction. She did not celebrate, she did not gloat. Instead, she felt a deep, calming sense of closure. The months of fear, sleepless nights, and constant observation had paid off. Her patience, intelligence, and determination had dismantled a carefully woven web of lies. She had turned betrayal into opportunity, using strategy instead of anger, control instead of chaos, and evidence instead of confrontation. In doing so, she had reclaimed her life with precision and grace. Even as Ryan and Evelyn faced mounting legal pressure, Maya began to rebuild herself from the inside out. She spent time with Liam, her childhood friend, who had stood by her throughout the ordeal. Their bond, strengthened by shared secrets, trust, and loyalty, became a source of comfort and stability. Liam's support reminded her that even after such profound betrayal, genuine connections existed. Connections built on honesty, care, and unshakable trust. For the first time in months, she allowed herself to breathe without fear, knowing she had survived one of the darkest chapters of her life. The final reckoning came quietly, but decisively. Ryan faced charges for emotional abuse, deceit, and attempted fraud, and Evelyn was implicated for manipulation, blackmail, and coercion. Both were forced to confront the consequences of their actions, legally and socially. They had tried to control Maya's life, to manipulate her and isolate her from reality. But in the end, their own schemes had trapped them. Justice, measured and thorough, had been served. Maya's revenge was complete, but it was not the kind born of rage. It was calculated, intelligent, and patient, a testament to her resilience and strength. The life she had once feared losing had returned, stronger and more secure than ever. She had turned betrayal into empowerment, deceit into clarity, and manipulation into proof of her own enduring resolve. As she walked through her home, once heavy with tension but now filled with light, she realized that the true victory was not in punishing those who had wronged her. It was in reclaiming herself. Her story, though shocking, became a cautionary tale for the town. A reminder that deception can lurk behind the most familiar faces, and that patience, intelligence, and courage can turn even the darkest betrayal into triumph. Maya had survived, outsmarted, and emerged victorious, proving that even in the face of unimaginable betrayal, the human spirit can prevail, stronger and wiser than ever before.